What's up, y'all? Yeah, y'all didn't expect to see me on this stage. I'm like, what's she doing on this side? Listen, welcome to the anniversary episode for the Blemish Beauty Podcast, one of the hottest podcasts out there in the world. So I'm excited about bringing my sis on the stage and her talking about some of the highlights of this season. Man, it's been an amazing run. She's had some amazing guests. I mean, why not? She's an amazing person. So you can expect her to have amazing guests. So after her, as in her words, her interlude, please welcome my sis, Shira Renee, to her platform, the Blemish Beauty Podcast. What's up, sis?
Hey y'all. I had to make sure my mic was on.
Right. You know how we do. We always come in muted every time. Be sitting there talking hard and it's on mute.
Okay. Having the best
I was
conversations in silence.
right. Right. It won't let me break my silence. So every time I come on your platform, I'm like, hey, I'm on mute. All right. So let's talk about this journey of yours this season. So what
Yes.
inspired you to start the Blemish Beauty Podcast?
Well, the podcast actually started as my virtual diary. Leaving my ex-husband. I've always liked to write and journal, but as you get older, life and you write less and less. So instead of writing it on paper, I decided to put it in audio form, and I decided to press play. We are introverts and we're very quiet people, and we don't like to let people in or tell people our business. So this was definitely out the box for me, but I just decided to press play, which is a bad idea. Don't ever just press play. But I decided to press play and just start, talking about how I was feeling and what I was going through. And I got some pretty decent reviews. So I just decided to keep going.
Wow. So now you said you started off as an audio baby, but now
Mhm.
you're into the visual side. So what made you want to come over to the visual side?
Well, shout out to Reverend James H. Glover III. I met James, and he had a whole bunch of podcasts, and he invited me to be a guest co-host on one of his shows. And of course, that was totally out my element because it was video. And I was super uncomfortable the first couple of episodes. But after a while, doing it on a weekly basis, I started to get familiar. I'm still not as comfortable as I should be, considering I've been doing it for a while, but way better than when I originally started with him.
Wow. I can't, I don't believe that. I don't believe that you was not a visual baby you was probably born that way and you sitting up here talking about you uncomfortable.
No, I mean I'm a selfie queen because that's a still, it don't move. But
I'm gonna let
as
you
far
have
as
that. I'm gonna let you have
as
that.
far as videos, no, because with videos, I mean, I commend you guys because with videos, it's so much that goes into video when you do on podcasts. When you do an audio, I can talk in my pajamas and be as vulnerable and transparent, but it's cool because I'm in my PJs, I'm comfortable. But with video, you got to make sure your lighting is right and the background ain't making no weird looking movements. And you got to make sure the audio sounds right and the video matches the audio. Like, it's so much going on. And me being an analytical person, uh-uh. Get
Get
somebody
somebody
else
else
to
to do
do
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand with video, with podcasts, it is a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of steps you have to take to make
Hmm.
sure that you put on the best show
Hmm.
for your guest. And if they're
Mhm.
late, you can just hang it up because now you can't check for issues with audio. You can't check
Mhm.
for issues with video. You can't check their internet connection. It's so much that goes into making that show perfect. But hey,
Yeah.
that's another episode right there.
And that was another thing because when I was doing audio, it was just me. So I was always on time and I was always on my own schedule. But when you are visual and you add the component of interviewing, now you have to coordinate schedules and time zones and all this other stuff. And like you said, sometimes they might not show up. Then what you gonna do?
Mhm. Exactly.
So it's just a lot. It's a lot that goes into video. But I tried it. At least I tried it.
So we're gonna get into some of these most memorable moments of your season. We're gonna play a clip and we'll come back and we're gonna talk about a little bit of why those are your memorable moments.
Okay.
As he says, "Hey, babe, what you think about?" Then he's asking you for a solution. But if he's telling you about his actual emotions and feelings, he doesn't want you to try to fix him. He just wants you to listen. And that's
What is up, sissy? Oh my goodness, what is
I'm
going
excited.
on? Let me first start this off by saying how honored I am to be your first guest on
Yay.
the video side of things.
excited.
I tell the story when people say, "Well, how did you know?" I said, "Listen, I prayed for her. I didn't pray about what I wanted. I prayed because I wanted her. So I prayed for her, and I have her now."
So the favor is attached to her. So when you start to see the favor because you are showing up in your husband role, watch what happens.
I don't know who she think fit to talk behind that because I'm just gonna say let the church say amen. Because every time I see that clip, I'm like, I know you lying. For real, who did y'all think was gonna follow up behind what y'all said?
You, Author Nikki Nicole.
Better get somebody else to do it. Oh
Oh
man.
my
So why did you
goodness.
choose those clips as your most memorable clips?
Um, well, the very first one was near and dear to me because that was the very first roundtable that I did. And I love talking to the men because, men don't really get a chance to express themselves. They don't get a chance to have safe spaces in public settings anyway. And I really wanted to bring that element to the forefront because they need safe spaces. And we as women, we need to be that piece because we hear that all the time, but we don't always know what that component looks like. So anybody can tell you, a female can tell you how to be a safe space, but to come from a man's perspective, I just thought it was awesome. And then we did men's health month, which was vital because I didn't even know that was a thing. So that was just like a really good month of podcasting, talking to the men, having them be vulnerable, and it was just an awesome time. The second clip was my very first video. And of course, it had to be with James because James gave me the opportunity to do video. And he was the one that I felt the most comfortable with. So it was only right that he was the first one that I interviewed video wise. And then the third clip is my BFF of over 20 years. And he's just an awesome person. His mind, the way he has transitioned from boy to man, it was just an amazing thing. And he's not like one of those people that's in front of the camera. So the fact that he allowed that opportunity to take place, that was just awesome. And I had to keep putting that out there every single time because he is not the one for the camera, but he allowed it because of me. So I put that in there. And then the last one, of course, we did a round table for the men. So we had to do one for the women. And we talked about cultivating safe spaces because we are the ones who give the safe space. So it was important that we show up and show people how to cultivate that safe space. Again, me being analytical, I like things to be A to Z. So I like people to know how to do things instead of just tell them to do things.
Nice. Yeah, you got me with that one. Like I said, that round table was serious, but we had a good time too, though. We
Hmm.
really did. So let's talk about the downside of podcasting. A lot of people don't talk about the downside. We talk more about the rewarding side. So what challenges have you faced on this journey? And what was like the biggest one that you faced?
Managing them time zones. Them time zones is a doozy. Managing them time zones because everybody is not on the Eastern Standard Time, which is predominantly what we're accustomed to. Just learning how other people navigate through life because it's so many different ones. You have Pacific and Mountain and Central, and just being attentive, really paying attention and tapping into conversations because a lot of us talk, but a lot of us don't know how to communicate. A lot of us listen to respond instead of listening to understand. So that was a pivotal moment because it helped my communication and also just the public speaking because again I could be anybody I want to be audially, but visually you have to show, well, you should, a lot of people don't, but you should show the genuineness and the authenticity on
Mhm,
screen. And so many people put on masks and pretend to be things that they're not, but
mhm.
really being vulnerable, that was the most challenging for me because I am an introvert and I don't like to let a lot of people in. So really being vulnerable, stop making those faces, really being vulnerable, and just doing what I encourage others to do, on my scars, because I'm not perfect. I've been divorced twice. I have two kids 10 years apart. Like, I go through life and life is life, and I talk about that in real time. So that was difficult because I didn't know how it would be perceived, but it was welcomed, and I'm, appreciative of it.
And you talking about you an introvert and that you're quiet and you're shy and all these
I
different
am.
things.
I am.
Don't be up here lying to these folks. Talk about she an
I
introvert.
am. But I have to be comfortable. Once I'm comfortable with you, then all
Mhm.
bets is off. We're gonna laugh and kiki all day. But in the beginning, I'm quiet. I like to scope out the scene.
Well, I didn't see that side. You wasn't quiet with me in the beginning. You didn't give me that opportunity to see you quiet. So stop. You stop now.
I don't know, because it's different with you. Like, we kind of like we two peas in a pod. So it's like it just felt like home. It wasn't like, oh, you some stranger. It just felt like, yeah, you've been supposed to been here. Where you been?
I said, where you been? Like all my life. Jesus. All right. So we gonna get in some more good stuff. We're gonna get into your most memorable guest. So we're gonna play a clip of that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about why you chose those guests.
Okay.
It is. I gotta have processes. I gotta have it, mapped out for you because I don't want you to get confused. I want you to understand that there's a path that you're taking. And then if you have issues along the way, we can pick out the pieces instead of it just being one big conversation.
What can I do for mindful dates? What can I do for soul dates? What can I do from body dates? Of course, body dates are going to look like things like going to get a massage, etc. Mindful dates are going to look like, oh, I'm going to sit in solitude. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to listen. do some affirmations.
Now, I know at least two of those guests why you chose them, but I want to hear from your mouth why you chose these guests as the most memorable.
They're the coaches. I love life coaches. Shout out to Coach Derek Jones and Coach Tammy Nicole. First off, Coach Derek was somebody that I followed on TikTok. And I just followed him and I was in awe of how passionate he was, because there's a lot of people that have jobs because of the monetary gain. And then there's also people that have jobs because they actually love what they do. And he was one of the first life coaches that I saw that actually loved what he did and had a passion to really help people tap into, just getting the healing component that they needed to push forward to be into better relationships. So when I saw him on Facebook in the Need a Guest group, I thought it was like spam at first. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to hit him up because this is fake. I know this ain't the real person. So I hit him up. I decided to shoot my shot. And I hit him up and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do the episode. I almost flipped out my chair. I was so excited. So we did the episode and it was amazing because we talked about attachment styles. And when I first heard him talk about that, my mind was blown. I didn't even know that was a thing. So to have him come on and grace my platform was awesome to me. And Coach Tammy Nicole, she was one of the first life coaches that actually did agree to come on. And I loved her because she was talking about self-love and all the things. And then for me, coming out of my divorce, that was something that I definitely needed at the time. So she coached me without coaching me while she was coaching others at the same time. So that was definitely memorable for me because I think she had so many nuggets. I mean, all the coaches that I've had on have nuggets, but those two in particular were really pivotal for me in my healing journey as well. So that's why I chose those two.
Listen, Coach Derek made me realize that love is never enough
Okay.
in a relationship. And I always thought that love was enough.
Yeah.
But when he broke that thing down on my episode and talked about why it's not enough, I was like, I know you lying. I've been thinking this all these years. I've been thinking that love was enough to keep a relationship going. And then the fact that, how he said the attachment styles about when your partner get mad, some people need that time to calm down. Some people don't want to deal with it right then. I didn't know that was such a thing either. And now let's talk about Coach Tammy Nicole.
Yeah.
I had the episode with her and she get up there coaching me on my platform.
She will.
You up? I'm supposed to be interviewing you. How you come up here and coach me and have a whole session? Them two powerhouses, man. Ooh.
They are.
She let me know to start showing up for myself and that, that's their stuff. That's their stuff over there.
That was a nugget. That was definitely a lifetime nugget. And that's what I love about them, because they give you things that you can meditate on for life, not just in the moment. Like Coach Derek, by him being an engineer by trade, that's what he say all the time. His brain is brilliant. And the way he breaks stuff down, it's like, I need that because I'm an analytical person. So it's just like, yes, finally somebody gets how my brain works. And then Coach Tammy, she'll give you stuff to like slap you on the face and you be like, huh.
I mean, slap you dead in the face.
Yeah. Like you think you doing it, but baby, when she come on and she tell you some stuff, you be like, I know you lying.
For
I
real.
really wasn't that. I ain't had no boundaries. None. Not none.
None. None. I didn't show up for myself. No.
Me?
I mean, she go ask me a question about, so how do you show up for yourself? I'm looking like, who's she talking? She talking to me.
Switched it.
And then I was like, I don't know. And she was like, think about it. And I started thinking about that thing. And I was like, this lady done came and turned my
Had
show.
you in your feelings. She did.
Got me up in my feelings for real. And I got off that show and I just sat there and looked like, yeah, okay. Okay.
You got that. Okay. I'm gonna get it together.
For real. Get it together fast. So let's talk about growth. Everybody starts their podcast And then they start looking at their shows from beginning to finish and in between. And they start listening to certain things in their podcast. They start seeing things that they used to do that now they don't do. So, how do you think that your podcast has evolved since the very first time that you press play?
So in the beginning, it was more about me. And now it is about helping others. So the beginning was mostly my mental health journey and talking about all the things that I've been through and stuff that I've learned. And now I still incorporate those things a little bit, but more so I give my listeners and viewers more topics geared towards their mental health, helping them tap into their healing journey and letting them know, like, hey, if you're going through this, then this is a key indicator that, it's time for you to start moving in a different direction. So it's kind of like mental health mixed with a little motivation at the same time, mixed with a little personal experience. So that's the growth in that. I've incorporated video because the first 2 seasons was just audio, and 3, and currently we're in season 4. They have video components. Um, Visually, I've gotten better in regards to like graphics and branding and all the things. Changed up a lot. And my comfort level with interviewing and talking to my guests. I started off with questions because I didn't know where to begin or how to do it. And now I just have genuine conversations. So it's a smoother transition. Shout out to Author Nikki Nicole. It's a smoother transition when you have these genuine conversations. And I am a little more confident than I was when I began, because in the beginning I was so worried about what others would think or if they would like this episode or whatever. And now I just put it out because God's led me to put it out. So who is for is for. And I just say what I need to say, get off and pray over it and just let the numbers do themselves.
So, if you had the opportunity to talk to the podcaster you were in the beginning, what would you tell that podcaster in the beginning now as the podcaster?
Really own your scars. Don't slow leak. Really just let it all go. Just let it rip. Season 1 and 2, I was slow leaking because I didn't know. First of all, I didn't feel comfortable or confident enough to fully let everything out and express myself. But I would also tell myself then that this is a safe space. You're providing a safe space for others, but it starts with you first. So really tap into that vulnerability, because that's what this podcasting world needs. People need to see that, they need to feel that. And it's so many people pressing play and just putting out noise. So just own my scars, run my race, and be authentically me.
Now, you say own your scars. So, for your viewers and your audience, what does own your scars mean?
Own your scars means be okay with not being okay. A lot of the times we ask people, hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm okay. Knowing good and well they not okay. Like, I'm not okay. I done been divorced twice. That's that's not something I'm happy with, but that's my story. And I'm going to continue to tell people that, because there is nothing that you've been through that you should be worried about or you should feel uncomfortable about, because everything that has happened to you has led you to become the person that you are. Everything that has happened to you is not about you, it is for someone else. So you are going through these things to be a testament and a testimony for someone else. So you have to own everything that you have been through, because somebody else is waiting on you to own your scars or tell your story and get them to the place that they need to be. If we've all heard something that made us feel comfortable to release something to someone, And we have to pay it forward. We have to continue to be those people that continue to speak up and speak out about the things that we have been through and endured, so other people who are still stuck in those same positions can feel okay enough to start stepping out and getting unstuck.
I know that's right. For every podcaster out there, we all have a why. Now, some people don't know what their why is because they're just pressing play. But for
Hmm.
the podcasters that really want to have a reason to be here, a reason to exist, and they are on a mission, what is your why?
My why is my daughter who passed away in 2018. I wanted to do something that she would be proud of. I wanted to give my oldest and my youngest boys something they can be proud of. So, my children. I want them to know that children should be seen and heard. And if you're not, then you end up becoming adults who have mental health issues. So I did that for them. I did that for my younger self who was afraid to speak out. And I'm doing it for the people that I'm supposed to be attached to later on. Tapping into who I need to be will get me to the people that I need to reach. So I'm doing it for them because I know that whatever I'm going through, I'm not going through it for me. I'm going through it to help somebody later on. So I'm soaking it up. I'm embracing the moment and learning what I need to learn, writing it down, journaling it down, podcasting it down so they can have something to refer to later.
Wow. See, y'all see why I'm so proud. I'm a proud big sister. Man, I'm just sitting over here, my heart just smiling. I'm like, yes, yes, you killing it right now. Okay, let me get out my feelings, get out my feelings. Okay, y'all, I'm good. So, so now what is next for the Blemish Beauty? What can your audience expect from you with the upcoming season?
Well, season 4, we are tackling survivor stories. We are talking to people who have gone through domestic violence, people who have gone through infancy loss, people who have gone through suicide, just a whole bunch of things. We all are survivors in some type of way. And I am just grateful enough that people have inboxed me wanting to use my platform to be the first time they've ever expressed what they've been through. We're also going to be talking to some life coaches because you know I love life coaches. We're going to be talking to some life coaches to really tap into why we think the way that we think. A brain coach, someone who's talking about anxiety. That's in season 4. Season 5, which is the new year, that is the year of motivation. So we're going to start the new year off right with life coaches and motivating us to get where we need to be because so many times we set these goals and expectations at the beginning of the year and by February, March, okay. And then we are also celebrating next year my 100th episode. So I'm excited about that. You know, we're doing big things. Pew, 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 pew. And your favorite Jersey girl will be on the Breaking the Silence showcase, of course. So that's exciting. That's in March. So we're excited about that. And just doing what I'm called to do. And that's just motivating the masses and speaking and continuing to be vulnerable and owning my scars in real time and just allowing who's supposed to be for me to gravitate to me and enjoying the process.
Now, y'all heard her say speaking, right?
Oh boy.
So now
Here
you
we
heard it
go.
here first.
Here we
She
go.
said she's going to be speaking. See, I told her she need to be out there using her voice to empower women. But y'all heard it here now. So
Oh boy.
when she says she not gonna speak, I'm gonna rewind this episode back and I'm gonna say, you said you're gonna be speaking. You said that's what's coming up next, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm just making sure you were still with me. You still with me. So now we're down to your favorite part because this ain't my favorite part of the show. I don't like when I'm down to the last question, y'all, on the Blemish Beauty Podcast. That hurts my heart, especially when they don't give me my hour,
Oh my
hour of
God.
fame.
No, we doing breaking the silence time, 30 to 45 minutes. That's what we doing now.
See, they don't do me right. I come on their podcast, they always get me up here for like 30 minutes, maybe 35, trying to push me off the stage, but then they give
We
everybody an
respecting
hour.
time frame. That's all we doing. We respecting your time frame. 30 minutes,
I'm
35.
gonna have
You lucky I ain't do Twisted Tuesday time because it would have been 20 minutes. Okay.
oh wow, you gonna put me on Twisted Tuesday time. Wow, see how they do me, but it's all good. We down to the last question. So now, what kind of advice can you give to the upcoming podcasters out there that's trying to press play or trying to start? And most times, before I started, it took me a year to plan, literally. And I still felt like I wasn't ready. I felt like something was still missing, but
Mhm.
I still try to press play. And we can both agree that we don't know everything in the beginning. We just know
Mm.
that we have a mission. We know that we have a ministry. We know we have a voice. We know we have a motive of where we're going, but we don't know where to start or how. So give those podcasters that really want to use their voice for the good some type of motivation and advice to start.
So that's the key. You said podcasters who want to use their voice for good. Figure out what you're doing it for. Figure out who you're doing it for. If you are doing it for anything else but people, then you don't need to podcast. It's all about ministry and not monetary. And if you are looking for the monetary aspect of it, then there are other ways to, get monetary gain from podcasting. I can't give you advice on that because this is not why I do it. But if you're doing it for ministry purposes, if you're doing it because you're led by God to do it, if you're doing it because you understand the value of having a voice and using it the right way, then I would suggest that you pray about it. Ask God where to lead you because there's so many different avenues in podcasting. There's so many different subjects and subtitles, but ask God where your vein is and dwell and be authentic as possible. There are so many different McDonald's. There's about a McDonald's on every sixth corner of the world. But that particular McDonald's is for that particular people. So don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up in the accolades. Do you. And when you are doing it for all the right reasons, then you'll get all the right people, the right benefits, and everything that is meant for you will gravitate to you the way it's supposed
Boom. I
to.
know that's right. Now I do have one more question. So you remember a long time ago, somebody said anybody can podcast. Do you believe that anybody can have a podcast?
I believe anybody can have a podcast, but I also believe that everybody shouldn't podcast. I feel like spaces like this, there's so much fluff and garbage already on TV and on the radio, and wherever you hear or listen to or watch, platforms like this, we have to be the difference maker. And I'm a strong component and advocate of that because I believe in God. So I believe that anything we do, we're supposed to be God led when we do it. But a lot of the people that are doing it for monetary gain. That's just like the church. There are so many pastors that are doing it for the monetary gain and they're not doing it for the heart of the people. So I take this just as serious as I would take the church because you still have people who are listening to you, who are following you, and you have to be the example. I can't sit here and tell you to own my scars and I'm covering up my skeletons every single night. So we have to be doers as well as speakers of the word. And whatever that word is, whether it's biblical or in a podcast, you have to apply the same things that you're spewing out. So I do believe everybody can, but everybody should.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, you're right. Everybody does not have the right message. Everybody does not have a message, and everybody is not, for the people. They're not
Right.
trying to make sure that people are informed about things. They're not trying to make sure that people are healing out there. They're not trying to make sure that somebody else can learn from this episode to help them out of this situation. You never know who's watching. You might save somebody's life. You might allow somebody to tell their story. So
Mm-hmm.
I take this very serious when it comes to podcasting. I'm really serious about what I do because I really be believing in people.
Yeah.
So you got to be a people person too. The podcast, you got to really love people and want to help people to be a podcaster. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can.
That's true.
So thank you, sis, for allowing me to host another one of your events. I love you. I'm proud of you. Keep pushing. You know, I'm here on every set to help you in any way that I can. Now I'm gonna turn the platform back over to you.
She thinks she's slick. This is not what we're going to do. We're going to turn the platform back over to her, okay? Because she didn't tell y'all where y'all can find.
Oh man. We always play this game, y'all. I thought I was gonna run up out of there, right? Because she did me like that on my anniversary episode. She ran up out of there and tried to head it back over to me real quick. I was like, wait a minute, I know you lying. She done got off the stage like she wasn't gonna come up here and tell the people where they can find her and follow her journey. So let me make this real quick, y'all. So you can follow Breaking the Silence on every platform, mostly YouTube. I'm streaming only from YouTube. Breaking the Silence Podcast 24. I'm on Facebook as Breaking the Silence Podcast page. Come break the silence with me. If you know somebody want to tell a story, if you have an artist you want to highlight, let's break the silence together. I know she lying.
All right, you guys. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I want to thank you, each and every person who has listened to my podcast, who has watched my podcast, who has commented, who has liked, who has shared. This could not be possible without each and every one of you. So I want to thank you for your support. And continue to stay connected with me. Let's continue to own our scars and let's just be the difference and the change that we want to see. And as always, I want you to remember that you are graced and gifted for a time such as this. You have purpose in this world and you have been created to do great and amazing things. So until next episode, you guys, talk to you later.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and don't forget to leave a review. You can follow Shira on all major platforms and on YouTube at Shira Renee 510. Until next time, spread love, show grace, and shine bright.